Hello there, everybody. I'm not Slave49. You know how you go up and you go down and you go to town and everybody's doing these fucking tier list videos? Well, I thought that I would also do tier list videos because I don't fucking know. It seems fun. And to start off these bullshit ass tier list videos, I did a one that really hits home close to the heart. That's not something that people say, but it really hits home close to something, and that is Zelda's games. Everybody's been playing Zelda's games since forever. You played a Zeldaz's, and I played a Zeldaz's. We all played a Zeldaz's. Which one's your favorite? Is it Oot? Is it Ultitip? Is it Four Swords Adventures for the GameCube? That one's pretty alright, actually. But that's beside the point, because I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna shit on your favorite Zelda game. Make sure to go down below, smash dislike when I inevitably say something about how your favorite Zelda game isn't perfect. Because I will. I acknowledge that all Zelda games are flawed, and some are more flawed than others, like Zelda 2. But without a further ado, let's further a poo on a thing. So, let's see here. What do I want to start with? Let's just do upper left and go forward. So first off, right off the bat, we got Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past plus Four Swords. This is, I don't know. The issue with Link to the Past Four Swords, so the Link to the Past half of it was weird because they changed Link's hair from pink to blonde, and then they added in the Ocarina of Time yells whenever you attack. So whenever you swing your sword, instead of just making a you hear the but then on top of that, Link does a yell, and it's Ocarina of Time Link, and it's just weird. It's a Link to the Past, but it's basically just like an inferior version of a Link to the Past because Link is no longer pink, and also yells. I always really liked in A Link to the Past when you upgraded your sword, and you know, it starts off sounding really wimpy. You just swing it and you hear a whoosh, but then as you upgrade it, you know, it gets lower pitched, more bassy, and at the end of the game, that's not your Discord, if you can even hear that anyway. I have my computer volume set pretty low, so you may have not heard that. But yeah, as you progress through the game, you know, the sword swing sound gets lower pitched and bassier and more windy. So it starts off sounding weak, and at the end of the game, you swing your sword and it's like or some shit like that, and it's very nice. But you can't hear that over Link yelling, and for that, I don't know. Also, the Four Swords minigame was neat, but you required other players to play it, and no one else I knew had it, so I'm gonna give that a C rank, or crank for short, just because it's not bad. You know, it's got A Link to the Past in it. Speaking of A Link to the Past, Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. This game, I honestly don't have any issues with A Link to the Past. I know I said I was going to bring up some issues that I had with all the games. I have no issues with A Link to the Past. Which is weird, because I played it when I was younger, but it wasn't a game that I played extensively. You know, it's not a super nostalgic game for me or anything. That'd be Ocarina of Time. So, I don't know. A Link to the Past, it looks nice. You got a definite sense of progression. Your arsenal expands. You've got a lot of cool items. The story doesn't exist, but it's good. There's all sorts of shit to find. Let's put that in the S tier. A Link Between Worlds. So A Link Between Worlds is technically fun, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. And you know why that is? I'll tell you why that is, right? It's because in A Link Between Worlds, you don't find any of the fucking dungeon items in the dungeons. You just go to Ravio and rent the items from him, and that's lame as shit. It does still have a nice variety of items that you can get, but it kind of ruins the sense of progression that you get throughout the game, because if you have enough rupees, you can just get all the fucking items right off the bat. That doesn't mean that you can tackle dungeons in any order you want, but still, item rental is kind of lame as hell. I hate that that's what they did. Because it means that when you're going through the dungeons, you don't really get any items. You know, it's like, I entered the Wind Temple. I already have the Wind Stick, so I just sort of do puzzles, and then I get a heart piece at the end. You do occasionally find bits of ore that let you upgrade the Master Sword, but I don't know. Link Between Worlds was a very fun game, but overall kind of just a little underwhelming. So let's put that in B tier. I'm going to skip over Breath of the Wild for now. Next up, we got Legend of Zelda 4 Swords Adventures, which was a fun game. That's all I can say about it, is that it was fun. A lot of the art was kind of shitty. I had a lot of fun playing this with my friends, actually. It was an absurd amount of fun playing with fucking Nick and others. I don't remember if I played... You remember from ages ago, there was that guy that I used to do videos with, fucking posted a video of us boosting in goddamn Modern Warfare 2, which, by the way, that was all his idea. I was always just like, okay, if that's what you want to do, and he was like, Alex, but that's beside the point. Had a lot of fun with 4 Swords Adventures. Very fun. More of an arcade title, not much of a traditional Zelda. You do select individual stages, so... I'll say that's C tier. It's pretty alright. Next up, we got Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Very fun game. Very good game. Very nice game. It's kind of out there, though. There were definitely a lot of points throughout the... That's still not your Discord, if you can hear that. There were a lot of points during Link's Awakening where I ended up just having to look up a guide because the solution to whatever story progression puzzle that they had was just really, really obtuse, just really out there. So it's not perfect. It's pretty good though. It's honestly, of the 3 games, Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons, and God, why am I so burpy? And Link's Awakening, I honestly kind of like Link's Awakening the most. I think part of that is just because it's the only one that I've actually fucking beaten. But yeah, it's pretty good. It's a nice experience, I guess. What do I feel like putting that at though? I feel like it's either low B or high C. Has about well, yeah, let's say low B. Cuz I'm thinking maybe it's C tier, but like 4 Swords Adventures, both of them are in C tier. Next up, we got Majora's Mask. You've seen 25,000 videos about how this is the black sheep of the Zelda series and how it's so underrated and blah blah, etc. It's S tier. Yeah, you already fucking know. Zelda 1. Zelda 1. It's jank as shit. It started off the series, and going back to it, you can have a bit of fun playing it, but there are a lot of enemies that are just really unforgiving. Especially since whenever you attack, you essentially just have to freeze in place, stab forward, and it's awkward to play. It's C tier. It's better. Yeah, no, C tier right there is fine. I was gonna say, you know, it's technically, as a single player experience, it is better than 4 Swords Adventures, but actually, why the fuck did I put 4 Swords Adventures below that one? There we go. Has that for you. It's pretty good. It's pretty quality. It's got a nice sense of progression. You can do a lot of stuff out of order, and I appreciate that. But next up, we got Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Fucking great game. There's been a resurgence lately of people saying, "Oh, it's overrated," but like it was the first 3D Zelda. It provides a very nice, a very satisfying linear experience. It's a bit easy at times. It's not really challenging, but, you know, it's got a lot of characters. It's got a lot of different environments. It's got a lot of cool items that you can get. It's very nice. It's very nice. I'll say S tier. Oh, also, I suppose I have to care about the order that these things are in. Is Majora's Mask better than A Link to the Past? I don't know. The issue is that... So, I don't know. A lot of people would say yes, I guess. The issue that I've got with Majora's Mask is that it requires a lot of your attention to complete, you know? Like, whenever you sit down to play Majora's Mask, you have to really be focusing in it, you know? You can't zone out and play Majora's Mask unless you speedrun the game, in which case, yeah, you can zone out and play Majora's Mask because you do that, like, multiple times a day, sometimes. It depends person to person. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like that order's fine. I'm willing to admit that Majora's Mask is better than Ocarina of Time, but I don't know. Ocarina's pretty good. The only issue with Ocarina that I have is that archery sucks. Like, the N64 controller is not good for that. It's basically all I have to say about that. Ocarina of Time 3D fixed basically every issue that I have with Ocarina of Time and is just, like, the definitive version of the game to play, unless you're speedrunning, because Grezzo fixed a lot of glitches arbitrarily. Like, you can't do ISG anymore, but you can get into the Shadow Temple early super easy. Like, it's so easy. I just looked up a tutorial on how to do it when I played through Ocarina 3D more recently. And I was like, oh, how do I get into Shadow Temple early? Go behind Dompe Hut, aim, hook shot, put iron boots on. You're in. That's it. That's fucking it. It does take a couple tries, though. But yeah, I don't remember what tangent I was off on. So next up, we got Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Ages. Like I said, I never actually finished Oracle of Ages completely. Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons, I never finished 100%. So, like, I don't know. They have that same issue with Link's Awakening where the progression through the story is kind of obtuse, except cranked up to the max. They were definitely funner games to play than Link's Awakening when I was playing them, but I ended up just hitting a wall and I didn't want to look up a guide. The game's very long. There's lots of neat collectibles. There's lots of stuff to do. There's that fucking weird underground lava girl with a bow on that you go on a date with that one time, and that's cute. That was in Seasons, right? Yeah, that was in Seasons. So yeah, this pretty good. As to whether I prefer Ages or Seasons, probably Seasons. Ages, I don't know. Comparing and contrasting two different areas at different periods of time is more interesting, but keeping track of what was where was more difficult, especially since the map is fucking huge. I don't know. So let's say these are pretty good. Okay, so here's the deal. So, you know, Link's Awakening, Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Ages, and Oracle of Seasons are sort of connected. You know, they get the same art style, they run on basically the same engine. And they're coming out with Link's Awakening remake on the Switch. What I'm really hoping that they do next is come out with Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons remakes. That would be dope as shit. And with a fucking fresh coat of paint, maybe... I'm usually against them adding little hints here and there that help you with progression, but these games are obtuse and just sort of weird. So maybe it'd be good for them. That'd be good as hell, though, if they fucking remade Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. So the question is, how do I actually feel about these? Well, they are funner to play. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. We're going to bump up A Link Between Worlds to A tier, because I don't feel like these two are as good as A Link Between Worlds. And we're going to put both of them in B tier. You can't really talk about these games independently. They're sort of, you know, two sides of a coin. Is that what people say? I don't fucking know. Next up, we got Phantom Hourglass. A lot of people hate this game. I don't. I'm sorry, I don't really hate Phantom Hourglass. It's a genuine Zelda experience. It's a sequel to Wind Waker, so it's got a lot of the same personality. It misses some beats, but overall it's a pretty solid game. You end up having to go through the Temple of the Ocean King 25 times, and that's annoying as shit, but that's just one blemish on the game. I wouldn't discount the game as a whole just because of that one thing. So let's say low B tier. Yeah, low B tier. Next up, Skyward Sword. This game's bad. That's it, really. C tier. It does a lot of neat things, but at the end of the game, it's just so fucking linear. It railroads you throughout the entire time. Speaking of the next game that we're going on, just railroads you through the entire goddamn game the entire time, and that's just... I don't know. It didn't feel genuine. It sort of felt like... So you know how Wind Waker came out, and then Nintendo was all like, ooh, we gotta make... Everybody loves Ocarina of Time. Let's make a dark, gritty game like Ocarina of Time. And then they made Twilight Princess, and Twilight Princess just didn't feel genuine. But then later, they realized, oh shit, Wind Waker, everybody loved Wind Waker. Let's make another Wind Waker. So they made another sort of cartoon-style one. It was really lighthearted, much more character-driven, much more linear. And then Skyward Sword just ended up being kind of jank and didn't seem super genuine. And fucking Fi or whoever is just the most fucking annoying companion on the planet. Like, she would straight up just... You'd be talking to little Jeffy in the village, and he'd be all like, oh, I lost my stick! It's in the graveyard! And then Fi would pop up and be all like, Master, I detect there's a 97% chance that this kid's stick is in the graveyard. It's like, thank you! He just fucking said that! Like, if you have ADHD, maybe she's helpful, but that's it. She's genuinely not a good character. And they try to play her off at the end, like, oh, she's going bye-bye, bye-fi, Wi-Fi, and so on and so forth. And it's hard to feel sad at that moment, because you're just, on one hand, you're like, oh man, it's my companion that I've been, spoilers by the way, it's my companion who I've been playing the entire game with. On the other hand, she's useless and doesn't shut the fuck up ever. So, I don't know. People complain about Navi. I've never had any issues with the Navi. Yeah, she pops up sometimes and says really obvious things, but the thing about Ocarina of Time that you gotta realize is that it was the first 3D Zelda game, and it was one of the first well-made 3D games in general. So, I don't know. You kind of have to take that with a grain of salt, because they were designing a game for people who had largely never played 3D games before. So, if a lot of the tutorial stuff seems a bit obnoxious, that's why. Or at least that's my rationale for it. So yeah, Spirit Tracks, low C. Actually, let's put it above that. Yeah, let's put it above Zelda 1, 2, actually. Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Next up, Spirit Tracks. It's basically Phantom Hourglass, but worse. And also, the fucking pan flute bullshit was so goddamn specific. I've never beaten this game, fun fact. I got to the last Locomo that you need to play the song for in order to get to the last area so that you can get to the fire temple so that you can keep playing the game. And that motherfucker, I was sitting there blowing into my DSi for almost 2 fucking hours. That motherfucker would not recognize that I was playing the song right. I don't know what I was doing wrong. Like, he'd be all like, oh, here's how you play the song. Do-do-do-do-do. And then I'd get my pan flute out and I'd be all like, okay, do-do-do-do-do. And he was like, go fuck yourself, you played it wrong. And I'm like, how did I play D tier, worst game. Genuinely the worst fucking game. I don't know if it's a good game aside from that. I remember it had a lot of really annoying quests where I had to just follow traffic laws very closely, and I wasn't a fan of that. You know, I want to go fast. Also, you were very restricted in where you could go. It was kind of neat charting out a path along the Spirit Tracks, but I don't know. Minish Cap. From what I hear, it's actually a very short game. I remember it being pretty long. It sort of has that issue that Link's Awakening had, where a lot of the progression can be kind of obtuse. And also it had that Kinstone fusion system, which I thought was neat as a kid, but having thought back on it and having seen some videos talking about the game, I don't know why it was in the game. It didn't really make the game better, and I learned later on while I was playing it, that there were several Kinstone fusions that I just missed out on, because if you progress before you access them, then they're just gone. So, I don't know. It's fucking weird. Low B tier. I'd say it's worse than Phantom Hourglass. Again, I recognize that I'm alone in acknowledging that Phantom Hourglass is a good Zelda game. But yeah, Minish Cap. It was fun to play. I got to the last boss, though, and I died a lot because I was bad and I was a kid, so I never actually finished it. I did almost finish it. Like I said, I was at the last boss. And it was only... The last boss in that game had like 4 fucking stages, and I couldn't get past the 3rd one. Something like that. I don't know exactly how many stages he had, but it was something like that. So next up, we got Wind Waker. Everyone loves Wind Waker. You love Wind Waker? No one liked Wind Waker when it first came out. God knows I had a negative first impression of Wind Waker. I was all like, "What? Why does Link look like that? This isn't a cool game for cool people. Link looks like a girl," cuz I was a kid and shit. And then when I actually got it later, I was like, "Oh, this game is dope as hell." S tier. Is it above or below Ocarina of Time? I'm going to say below Ocarina of Time. Not objectively. This is entirely subjective, by the way. Fucking, you might come up with your own tier list and be all like, Spirit Tracks is S tier. Skyward Sword is a great game. Fuck you, not Slayer 49. Go kill yourself. And, you know, that's valid. But, you know, me, I grew up with Ocarina of Time. I recognize its nostalgia. You know what? Fuck it. If I'm sitting here making a point as to why I only put Ocarina of Time ahead of Wind Waker because of nostalgia, then I might as well just fix that. Because fuck it, I don't really care that much. Next up, Zelda 2 Adventure of Link. We're going to skip that one for now. Zelda 2 Adventure of Link. It's probably a good game. I've seen people play it. I've seen Pro Jared do a playthrough of it. And look at where that got him. But yeah, if you can play it, then I'm sure it's fun. But it's janky. It's very janky. Let's put it in high C tier. I'm sorry, D tier. It's just a game that is defined by its jankiness. Next up, Twilight Princess. Right, Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess. Like I said, this was the game that came out after Wind Waker, where Nintendo was all like, "Oh, people don't like Wind Waker. People liked Ocarina of Time. Let's make a gritty, edgy game that isn't Ocarina of Time or Wind Waker." And what they got was a game that just felt kind of soulless. Midna's great. Midna's fantastic. But a lot of the other characters are... First off, they're all ugly as shit. You know how in Breath of the Wild, everyone looks goddamn fantastic? You know? Like, they come out with a gross fish man, and then all of Tumblr's like, "Oh, I want to fuck the fish man." Because they made a sexy fish man. You know? That's all the characters in Breath of the Wild. Like, all of them. They all look fantastic. Twilight Princess is the opposite. Basically, all characters in the game look like a crime against God. Except for Link and fucking, you know, obvious characters like Ilia and shit. But yeah, it just, I don't know. And Hyrule Field, especially, was just sort of empty overall. Like, it had the same... Hyrule Field had the same sort of fidelity to it that Ocarina of Time Hyrule Field did. Except Ocarina of Time Hyrule Field had the benefit of being an N64 game where everything was low poly and low detail. Twilight Princess, on the other hand, Hyrule Field being as empty and devoid of trees and life as it was, made it just feel like it was big for the sake of being big. It didn't make the game better, it just made travel times longer, and that was annoying, but overall Twilight Princess was a pretty alright game. Let's say low A tier. And then next up, we got Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, everyone's favorite game. You love it, your siblings love it, everyone loves it, Mr. Johnson up the street loves it. I fucking hate the absolute ever-loving fuck out of Breath of the Wild. And here's why. Here's my 10-page PowerPoint presentation on how Breath of the Wild fails not only as a Zelda game, but also as an open-world game. And I know, like I said, get your dislikes ready. So here's the deal, right? Breath of the Wild, or as I like to call it, Breath of the Wild, it sort of takes the idea of Skyward Sword and basically all the Zelda games, where... How do I put this? They took the concept of a Zelda game that they had perfected over the years, or mostly perfected. Obviously, the last Zelda game that they had made... The last mainline Zelda game that they had made was Skyward Sword. Obviously, A Link Between Worlds came out in between then. And A Link Between Worlds is good. But, yeah, so they looked at the absolute overwhelming linearity that was Skyward Sword, and they thought to themselves, okay, so overwhelming linearity didn't work. What if we have overwhelming freedom of choice? Huh? And what they ended up with was a game where everyone agrees that all of the dungeons are shit. They're all boring. They all look the same. The bosses all look the same because they basically are the same. They behave differently, but, you know, it's like big evil Ganon man that goes fast and zips to you. Big evil Ganon man that has water and shoots ice balls at you. Big evil Ganon man that shoots fireballs and dies instantly. Big evil Ganon man that wins at you. You know, it's all the fucking same. Everything about this game is the fucking same. You know how people complain about how Skyrim dungeons are all the same? Like, you go in a Skyrim dungeon, oh boy, it's a Nordic ruin. Oh boy, it's Draugr. Oh boy, it's a cave. Oh boy, it's bandits. So on and so forth. It's, like, Breath of the Wild looked at Skyrim and said, people really like Skyrim, okay, and Skyrim has extremely samey repetitive dungeons. Therefore, we need to have extremely samey repetitive dungeons. Alright? So then you get the Breath of the Wild dungeons. They're all shit. I mean, the story, what story is there is good. The issue is that, you know, in Skyrim you get characters, you know, Skyrim, Fallout 4, all those Bethesda open world games, most open world games actually, you tend to get characters that you really latch onto. You know, like you got your Pipers, or you got your fucking, what the hell is her name? Cass. You got Cass from Fallout New Vegas. You got all these characters that you really like, and you like talking to them, and you like doing stuff. Breath of the Wild has an overwhelming cast of characters that you just love, but they don't have any dialogue for them. It's like a Zelda game in that regard. You know, like I said, this is sort of a compromise between Skyrim and Zelda, where they've got a bunch, well, not Skyrim, but, you know, like Fallout and Zelda, where you've got all these characters that you really love, and you want to know more about them, but then it's still Zelda, so they have, like, one dialogue box. You know? If a plot-relevant thing happens with them, then they get more dialogue, but not that much. So overall, the characters are just underdeveloped. And somehow, Zelda Breath of the Wild managed to get this open world. It's absolutely beautiful. It's massive, but it has nothing fucking in it. Right? It's just a shit ton of enemy camps. And oh boy, if you destroy all the enemies in the camp, then a chest opens up. You open it up, ba-da-da-doo, it's an opal. Sell that for money. That's it. You know? And it does have an overwhelming number of the shrines. Right? Like, you go throughout the world and you do shit and you run into a shrine. The issue is that enemy camps, chests with shit in them, and shrines are the only things that you're ever going to be finding. Also dragons. There are 3 dragons, but yeah, that's the issue. Whenever you play an open world game in general, you get to a dungeon and you wonder what's going to be in the dungeon. You know, there's going to be some enemies, maybe there's some kind of NPC that you talk to and he's got some stuff to sell you, or there's like a quest in there. You know, maybe you go into a cave and oh shit, look at that. It's a sword. It's magical. Morrowind was great for that, by the way. Just having crazy artifacts hidden all over the place. It was fantastic. You know what Breath of the Wild has at the end of all the cool caves? A shrine. You know it's going to be a shrine. It's going to have a chest in it. The chest is probably going to have a sword. Maybe it'll be a cool sword, but it breaks in 3 hits. Or maybe it has something that you just sell for rupees. Or maybe, like, 1.3% of the time, there's armor in it, which is an actual thing that has value, and you feel happy when you get that. But I've been replaying Breath of the Wild recently. I've cleared, like, 50 out of however many shrines, and one of them had a piece of armor in it. It was fucking barbarian legs. So yeah, it's like they took the concept of an open world with endless possibilities and all sorts of cool stuff to see, and then was all like, okay, we've got this awesome abandoned temple. What's going to be in it? A shrine, a chest, spirit orb. Every fucking time. There's no mystery. There's no intrigue. Every time you explore, if you find something neat, you know what's going to be in it? A shrine with a chest and a spirit orb. Or like, oh man, look at that. Isn't that neat? It's like a target range. I shot it. Yahaha, you found me. Here's a seed. Oh, okay. Oh, look at that. There's a flower. Everything that you find, everything that you're exploring the world, you find cool shit. It all terminates in either a shrine or a Korok popping up and saying, yahaha, you found me. it somehow has one of the most beautiful open worlds in the game. Playing the game itself is fun. The act of playing Breath of the Wild is fun, but the rewards for playing it are just not fucking worth it, you know? Like in Ocarina of Time, you're exploring the world, you find like a little grotto or some shit, and what's in it? I don't know, heart piece, Skulltula, maybe an upgrade for one of your items. There's actual shit that you can find, right? In fucking Breath of the Wild, like I said, you find a grotto. Guess what's in it? It's a shrine. One chest, one spirit orb. Congratulations. Fucking... And then, I'm not even going to bring up weapon durability. Weapon durability is stupid. It made the Master Sword just the most underwhelming thing in the fucking planet. I lied, by the way. I'm going to complain about weapon durability. Like, I got the Master Sword, I was all like, oh man, this is so fucking cool. I've been dealing with this weapon durability bullshit the entire fucking game. I'm finally going to have the Master Sword. I'm going to be able to use it. All right, I stabbed a guy there. I stabbed a guy there. I stabbed a... What do you mean the Master Sword's out of energy? I have to wait 10 minutes? What? Like, if the Master Sword had maybe, I don't know, 5 to 10 times as much durability as it does, this wouldn't be as much of an issue. But as it stands, the Master Sword isn't even a very high damage weapon. It starts off at 30 damage. You can upgrade it with one of the DLCs that came out, but I got bored and dropped the game like a fucking rock before that happened. Like I said, I've been replaying it recently. I'm in the middle of the Master Sword trials currently. And like I said, I'm having fun with the game, but only because I came into it knowing that there is nothing interesting to be found. It's just a shrine with a chest in it and a spirit orb. Congratulations. There's nothing interesting to fucking find. It's just a shrine. It's just shrines at the end of every single fucking dungeon. It's just a shrine with a chest and a spirit orb. I fucking hate the concept of this goddamn game so goddamn much. It's like they took a Zelda game and then they decided, oh hey, it's got to be open world. Well, we can't have any real progression then, right? Like I said, I really enjoyed A Link to the Past because it had a large open world that you could explore, but not completely. And as you progress through the game, you get more items, you feel better about yourself, more of the world opens up. That was good. That's really what Breath of the Wild should have done. There should have been more dungeons. You should have actually fucking gotten dungeon items. You sort of get dungeon items a little bit, but there are only 4 dungeons. So, And then what you actually do get is fucking an automatic revive, an automatic counter, a super spin attack, which is cool, and the ability to swoosh up into the air real fast. Which is something that I wish I had the entire fucking game when I played through it the first time. Since I played through it again, the Rito dungeon was the first one that I did, and it's been a blast having that fucking Revali's Gale all the time. It's been just so convenient. But, you know, the system isn't without its flaws. One weird thing that I just really dislike about the champion power system and about the Master Sword recharge is that they don't recharge passively. You know what I mean? You have to use up all 3 charges of Revali's Gale before any of them will recharge. I didn't know that the first time I was playing through, right? So I was using the Master Sword and I was using Revali's Gale, and then I got to 1 charge and I was like, ooh, I better save that in case I need to get a quick swoosh out of whatever situation I'm in. Or like, oh, the Master Sword's almost out of energy. I'll put it away and wait for it to recharge so that I'm never left Master Swordless. Except no, I spent the rest of the game without a charged Master Sword, because I didn't fucking know that it had to break completely before it would start recharging, which is just fucking stupid. It's just really fucking dumb. And it doesn't tell you that. It says, oh, the Master Sword will have to recharge if you drain its energy, and it's like, okay, but you have to drain it completely for it to recharge. It's just... I don't know. Breath of the Wild, it's fucking high D tier. I don't think it's... Ooh, this is tough. Okay, low C tier, and then Skyward Sword goes lower than it. And then 4 Swords plus Link to the Past is between that. Alright. So that's Thank you for listening to me complaining about Breath of the Wild for 10 minutes. I hate that game so fucking much. It could have been so much more. I'm really looking forward to the game, like the actual Zelda game that Breath of the Wild was a tech demo for. Because they've got nice physics. The gameplay itself is nice. But like I said, there's no fucking intrigue. They say it's about the journey and not the destination. But if there's no destination in the first place, then why am I on the journey? And that's how I feel about Breath of the Wild. Because every single side quest just terminates in a shrine with a chest and a spirit orb. I hate it. I hate it so fucking much. That's going to be all for now, everybody. I think I'm going to do another one of these. I don't know what one, though. Maybe the Pokemon... Yeah, Pokemon starters. There's one for Pokemon starters, right? I can piss off more people with that? Well, no, I think hating Incineroar is a pretty universal thing, so I don't think I'll piss anyone off with that. But yeah, I hope you enjoy my tier list. Again, this is entirely opinion. I complain about Breath of the Wild to no fucking end, but if you love the game, if it's your favorite Zelda game, more power to you. I love that you can find enjoyment out of this game, because I can't. I wanted to, but I can't. And I hate that. If I could just not have the mindset that I did and enjoy Breath of the Wild as much as everyone else does, I would love that. But I can't. So, sorry. Again, this is entirely up to opinion. Obviously, some of it is just fact. Like, obviously, all of the S tiers are just objectively superior games than Spirit Tracks. So, you know, in some sense, it's generally factual, I'd say, but the positions of Zelda games are sort of skewed up or down based on my own personal feelings, you know? And obviously I feel very strongly about Breath of the Wild, which is why it's down at C tier instead of fucking S tier like everybody puts it. But yeah, it's gonna be all for now. Well, go smash the like button, hit subscribe, ring the bell, follow me on Twitter. I have a Twitter, by the way. It's in the description. Also, follow me on Tumblr. I caught a blue Ponyta recently. Since they announced... Okay, I'm going to talk about that in the fucking starter tier list, actually. Good night. I'm going to stop rambling. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night.